Alright, so it's day 4. I did already write this morning because I've been up for a while and I've been in a weird mood. I don't really know why. Okay, so last night I finished a few pages of my world building and I kind of planned out the rest of them for like my wolf packs, and I did a lot more tinkering inside the world building wiki to try to like give me a future look of the pages that I still need to create. So I did some of that. I finished reading 2 books and I don't know, they put me in a weird mood for some reason. Like one was kind of really bittersweet and sad, and the other one was really like cute and heartwarming, and I bounced back and forth between these emotions too fast, I think. But I've been awake since like, I don't know, 5. I got very little sleep and I'm feeling weird, but it's fine. I sat down today and I wrote for 2 hours already. I wrote 1,138 words, but I didn't finish that scene, but I did write like 4 pages. These scenes are taking me a little bit longer because they are ones that I'm needing to, like, they're new, but it feels like I've already written them in a weird way, even though when I look at my book, I'm like, oh no, these scenes do not exist. So it's kind of weird. It's like it feels like I'm rewriting scenes that I've already written somewhere, but I guess it's just in my outline that those scenes are there. But it's interesting to see like it play out, because like the way I was thinking how these scenes play out is not necessarily how it's going while I'm writing. So I want to finish the scene that I started today. I'm probably gonna take a break because I'm being all weird. I need to go to the library and switch out some books and stuff that I'm reading for Autistic Pride Month. I'll be busy reading as well. We'll see. So I want to finish the scene, and I think I have 3 more scenes, maybe 4, that I like had in mind for this week. So if I can finish this scene, then like, you know, I'm one closer to like reaching my goal for the week. I'm realizing though that like the scenes that I wrote down are not exactly the ones that I'm writing. So I'm gonna have to take another look at that, because again, I'm using Trello and it's easy to like rearrange the little checklist that I have for the scenes. That way it makes it easy. But then I'm actually like going into my document and writing and realizing that like where I think I'm at is not where that scene's going. Like it's just not working for me. So I look at my scene list again and I'm like, that scene right now works. That's what we're going with. And then so it's just, I just have to look at it chronologically basically and figure it out, and like because I'm fixing the timeline. That's what I'm really struggling with. So I took another look at it, so I think I just have to like rearrange 2 scenes, like swap them out. Same characters, same point of view, just like the scenes that I thought they're just gonna be like swapped around. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to the scenes that I do get to write though. I think those will be good, and once I can get the chunk of those done, I'll be done with like the midterms days of these books. And those took me a while. Like it took me a while to figure out what I wanted to do, and now to like, I only put in a few placeholders, which is good. And so far for these scenes, I haven't. I'm hoping the next few scenes, like I can just get as much done as I can, even if I know they'll need more work in the next draft. I need to get these scenes out to push the timeline along and push the characters forward. So I'm hoping it's not getting like repetitive. I feel like one of the characters is on a kind of path that would lend itself to being repetitive, because he's searching for information. So he's having to ask some of the same types of questions of different people. But I'm trying to like switch that up a bit and switch up the experience that he has like interviewing these people, you know, and just make it so that these scenes are not the same all over again, where you're just like could you not have just made these all come from the same character? Like I could have, but that would have been weird. So I don't know, this is the way my brain, the characters are going about it, is that he's getting information from a few different sources at the school, and it makes sense because of like the event that he's getting information about. But it's just one of those things that when I was trying to pare down this draft and thinking I could combine a lot of scenes, I'm not like, here I am creating more scenes, more separate scenes. And so it's almost as if, you know, the scenes I've already taken out or I'm planning to take out, it's like, it's just like an even exchange basically. So I'm already back up to 198,000. So I'm back up there. I'm so proud of myself for sticking with my 200K word count. Just anyway, that's how my day four is going so far. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go do some stuff and then come back and see how I feel to maybe do an evening writing session. I'm maybe gonna like slow it down, so I'm just doing 2 writing sessions a day, like 1 in the morning and 1 later. That's my plan, maybe. If I'd pushed for another hour this morning, maybe I would have finished that scene. It didn't, I don't know, it wasn't happening. I was tired, like I'm hurt. I just needed a break. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a scene and I need a break, even though like I know I'm right there, like I'm close to being done, but sometimes it gets overwhelming when I start making good progress. And that seems weird to say, almost like that's when I start to like slow it down, like, oh no, but I don't want to get like that. I want to keep up this progress because I like the feeling of making progress. And I'd like to see these revisions through to the end. So I hate that it feels weird, like too much to be making like actual good progress for once. Like that's out of the norm for me, I guess, maybe. The fact that I still struggle with this book and these revisions, even though I worked on them all last year and I took a long break, but it's been a struggle for these revisions and basically rewriting this book. And I feel like I'm gonna have to just do like another rewrite in the next draft just to kind of get it to a state that I want it to be in. But first I have to make sure that I have fixed all of the timeline issues and all of the plot issues, and I already know there's so many things that I need to fix again. So I guess sometimes it starts to get overwhelming and I'm just like, let me focus on today. Let me focus on the scenes that I can do today, and then we'll see about tomorrow. And like literally just one day at a time. Like if I focus too much on what's ahead of me, then the overwhelm comes. So that's, yeah. So I did good today, and you know, even if that's all I do today, like if I don't write anymore today, I made good progress. So I'm happy with that. All right, I'll be back later.
I'll be there for you, calling me when you're lonely, dancing on the roof. It feels like rendezvous. You know what to do. Keep your laugh.
Okay, it is 11 o'clock and I just finished writing for 2 hours, and I think I feel good having just done the 2 hours. I finished up the scene from this morning, started another one. It still wasn't very many words. I wrote 869 words. I normally average 1,000 words an hour unless I'm having difficulties apparently. So that's fine, but that means today I've written 2,007 words, so that's actually pretty good. I think that's the most words I've written in a day since camp started, since like last week when I was working on that other story. That, yeah. Today was pretty good. I think I'm feeling better about like 2 writing sessions, because that's what I did yesterday. I just did 2 longer writing sessions, 2 3-hour sessions. I feel better like cutting down on that, I guess. I came in strong for the first 3 days and I'm kind of done. Like, and I don't really want to be done. So I'm trying to continue to ease my way into the rest of camp, right? I have just 3 more scenes to write. Then I get to do some fun rearranging for like the next day in the book, because that's when I have a whole lot written and there's a huge part of it that needs to be removed because I changed that plot. But because I am adding a new scene there you know, it's just equivalent exchange at that point. Like, imagine another scene. It doesn't really take the place of that plot. It's just because Paul has so much more to do with this draft version that I'm working it in, and it made sense to put it in on this day because I'm taking out something for Emily. Not entirely. It's just, it's a large chunk that I changed up what was happening, but Emily still gets like some revelations, and it's part of a subplot that it's not like throughout the book, it's just periodic because there's too much going on. Like, I can't have every subplot popping up like constantly because there would just be too much going on. So this is a subplot thread that has been there since the beginning, and it pops up like every now and then. It becomes bigger in book 2, and from there on it's just this one, I left it more of a mystery, I guess, is what ends up being the case, is because of what I changed, what I had happening. I was like, it doesn't fit in this book now that I've shortened the timeline, because the majority of that plot happens later on. So I was like, I should just kind of wait, right, and have most of that plot happening when it needs to happen. It's the type of thing, like, if I have that scene still in here, there's not going to be really any resolution to it. I've been really thinking about that a lot, that when people say, like, write the first book in a series as like a standalone so that it can be read on its own in case, you know, you don't get to write the sequels, like the sequels don't get picked up. And I understand that. It's just, I feel like my plot does not lend itself to that very well, because this, I'm gonna call it a trilogy because I think for right now it's 3 books with these main characters. They take place so quickly together. Like, the second book takes place within like the next week after the first book ends, and that it's just like, it's like once things start rolling in this series, like, they don't stop. The things that they're dealing with in the first book really don't get resolved because they're still dealing with them. It's like they just get kind of amped up. And basically in this first book there's like a war brewing, and part of it is that they're trying to figure out who are the major players, like who is doing this, what is happening. They're trying to figure out some of the details, and people make wrong assumptions and make choices based on those assumptions, and it just kind of escalates and makes everything worse, so that by the end of this book, like I will have forced Emily to make a decision and actually become active, but between her and Kane and Paul, all of their decisions turn out for the worse, right? And it's like, yeah, does it really resolve the plot that's been happening in this first book? I'm doubtful of that. I really can't wait until I have like a critique partner or betas read this, because that's still a long way off. But because these are things that I think about, and I'm just like, I need to know if this book stands on its own well enough. And because it's so long right now, and I really do want to cut as much of the word count out as possible. And basically in this draft I've added 100,000 words, so that was not my intention, and now I don't know what to do, basically, because other writers suggest just, you know, cutting the book in half. But, you know, if that would work, that would be amazing, but my plot does not lend itself to that. Like, that midpoint I don't think is a good enough like climax to end like a book on, because that's really just kind of a mid turning point for this book. That's why I was like, I can't really cut it down at the midpoint, because it's just a time where things get escalated, and so there would definitely be no resolution there. But at least at the end of the book, the way I have it now, there's I think the feeling of some resolution, but you also get that there's a lot of stuff happening that's going to happen. I don't know. This is why this is one of those books that I pretty much wanted to self-publish from the beginning, just because, well, when I first finished it, there's a lot of stuff I have in it that now is maybe a little bit more common, a little bit more like accepted in YA fiction. Like, there's polyamory, so one of the characters has a polyamorous relationship. It's like ongoing and developing throughout the series, but it is like a major part of one of the characters' stories. that was one of the things that when I finished this draft, like I was like, ooh, like I've got a lot of queer characters, a lot of bordering on horror kind of stuff happening, and it's kind of dark, but I also really like to have lighthearted moments in between the dark. But just, yeah, the fact that I was just like, wow, there's just, But now a lot of what I write would probably be okay, like it would probably be picked up. But now I run into the problem that I have written an extremely long book. But I am trying to fix that. I hope by the end of this draft that once like I see the plot for what it is, that like on my next read through I'm gonna be making the notes for like where to add the threads that I kind of dropped or forgot about in this revision, and hopefully like I'll find places where I'll be able to like just trim down the words or cut down scenes, the fluff of them walking across campus to get someplace when really that's unnecessary. Like I can just cut stuff like that out and just open the next section in a new location. Like it's okay. So that's the type of stuff that I struggle with, that I know there's a lot of filler that I can do without. So it'll be interesting to see some of my next drafts, how those go, what my word count is going to be like at the end of this draft, because now I'm at 199,330, so I'm back up to 200k basically, and you know, no one's surprised. I was kind of hoping that after I had taken out like 10,000 words, like I might be able to keep it low and continue to like cut things out, but it ended up being that I was just continually adding new scenes, and it's better for it. Like the book, the plot, everything's better for it, so I don't regret it. It's just, it's going to make paring down the word count extremely difficult now, because it was already 100,000 words when I finished, and now there's 100,000 more words in there somewhere, and I have already taken out like 80 or 90,000 words. So like I've written a lot of words for this book, a lot, and I don't really know what to do. But again, I'm taking it one day at a time, and just I had a good day. I'm gonna call it a night, pick this up tomorrow. I will check back in with you guys. I know it's pretty boring that I'm just sitting here, but like this is my life. I sit here, I go to doctors, sometimes I go to Starbucks, sometimes I go to the library, sometimes I go to the dog park. It's literally my life. That's why I was like, oh, I do nothing interesting. So this is as interesting as it gets. All right.
I get high on you, yeah, you. Hey baby, kiss me hard, don't kill my vibe. All my feelings on fire, it's all time. Hey baby, kiss me hard, don't kill my vibe. All my feelings on fire, it's all time. Don't kill my vibe.
Hello, it's day 5, and I'm tired already. 6 o'clock. It's 6:12. So got up early, got a brace, and made some more doctor appointments that I'm just looking forward to so much. I had to get some writing done. I wrote for 2 hours, 709 words. So I finished up the scene from last night that I started working on. Even though I'm making really good progress, I look at it and go, whoa, I'm almost doing a scene a day or a scene and a half, and it's just because I'm personally cutting the scenes in half during my writing time. Like I sit there and I'm like, okay, this is a good place. Like from here, like we sort of shift gears in the scene, even though it's the same scene. It continues right along. I guess at that point I need to wait for my brain to shift gears. It's different. Okay, so I finished that one, and of the scenes I wrote down, I did switch it around. I know generally the timeline of what I'm looking for. That's why I'm adding another scene as well, but I think it's gonna go after the other one. So a lot of stuff's happening with me and the timeline and switching scenes around. I'm glad I made progress though. It is after 6 right now, and I'm really tired, but I think I'm going to sit and work on my wiki since I didn't do that yesterday. I'd like to kind of just finish setting up the pages for my werewolves, or at least the ones who are important for certain storylines right now that I'm focusing on, that type of thing. All right, I'm gonna try to do another couple hours, or at least one more hour to reach my 3 hours a day goal, but I'll try to do 2. But yeah. Homemade taquito delivery from mi mamacita. Anyway, I'm gonna stick to this schedule though of having a morning session and having an evening session. I think that will just be my plan for the rest of camp. 6 hours a day was a lot, and splitting that up into multiple sessions helped, but it was also a lot. So I like the 2 sessions, and I'm gonna keep up with that. I think I'll stick to doing 2 hours a session. I feel like anything less than that, like an hour is okay, but I feel like I just barely start getting into the groove after an hour. Like, so it takes me a little bit of warm-up time. I guess I'm kind of figuring out not really my limits, but like some of the boundaries that I have for writing, like when I need to take a break. So it's kind of fun this camp, that because I am focusing on creating a habit, a daily writing habit, a good writing habit. Yeah, then I'm figuring things out about myself and figuring out how I work best and how to plan for my brain. I had to do this in school too, like figure out how to work with my brain in order to get stuff done. So this is me just learning for a different process, I guess, at this point. I don't really want to be pushing myself. I just want to figure out what my limits are and what would constitute a good habit for me. Doesn't necessarily mean daily. I just want to keep up this progress for as long as possible though. I've been talking for way too long about stuff that just doesn't even matter, and I've been waving around this taquito like with my 700 words today. I definitely pushed my word count over to 200,000 again. I mean, I knew it was coming. I knew. I just some part of me, some sliver part of me is just like still hoping that I'll be able to fix the word count. Check back in with you guys tomorrow for sure. I've been pretty good about the daily updates, so I'm proud of myself for that. Who knows when this vlog will go up though, because that I am bad at. Right.